Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a pleasure to see you in the chair, Mr. Holloway, and I congratulate the honourable member on securing this debate, the future of the oil and gas industry, only a few months after my own debate on oil and gas. It's a massive part of the UK economy and an absolutely enormous part of my Gordon constituency. There are 233 service companies operate from Gordon alone, and I claim routinely that I have the largest oil and gas footprint, but other members in the room may try and argue the point. Thanks to this government and the transferable tax history that will come into effect in November, billions of pounds of investment will be released into the industry. But I'm disappointed that there have been voices from the opposition benches that transferable tax history is the wrong thing to be doing. The industry continues to develop efficiencies in decommissioning, supported by Her Majesty's Treasury. The industry is contributing £1 billion a year to Her Majesty's Treasury, somewhere short of the estimated £11 billion the SNP claimed during the independence referendum would be contributed. 59 UK constituencies have major oil and gas footprint, and I follow what my honourable friend just said. It seems to be the same members that turn up at this. Many other areas should realise what a significance the oil and gas industry is. It's a truly national industry and a truly international industry. It's not a dying industry. It's an industry that has shrunk from 4.5 million barrels a day to 1.5 million barrels a day. It is still of great importance and has tremendous longevity. So why is it quite so important to the North East? Well, the North East is 8% of the population of Scotland, but 18% of the Scottish economy. And even during the downturn, unemployment has only got to 1.2%, because the people of the North East believe getting out there and working, whether it is somewhere else in the world. It's the engine room of the Scottish economy, where the cost of living is higher, house prices were driven up by the boom years, but we have the highest council tax bills. It's the most expensive place to live in Scotland, because the Scottish Government chose to put up the council tax bills. Employers feel penalised by higher business rates, to the extent that buildings are being knocked down in the North East of Scotland. I just drove past the Baker Hughes GE building, which is next to my neighbouring constituency, which they tell me will have to be knocked down because the business rates are so punitive. The UK Government has delivered for oil and gas a massive incentive with transferable tax history, estimated at £30 billion. The UK Government. Fiscal policy making the UK continental shelf the place to produce oil and gas. The UK Government. And low corporation tax for the whole sector UK-wide. The UK Government. In the North East, we have the highest concentration of technicians and engineers in the UK. We have an incredibly strong and robust economy. And this is an industry which puts safety absolutely first. I pay testament to Step Change, who's brought together producers, service sector, offshore workers in a collaborative effort. And as for there's been a downturn in activity, the Oil and Gas Authority estimates through collaborative action there will be £400 billion still to come from the North Sea. Chrysaor invested £3.8 billion, a private equity-backed organisation, to buy Shell assets. Wood Group bought AMEC to be a FTSE 100 company. GE and Baker Hughes have merged their oil and gas, which is going to float on the New York Stock Exchange. There is not a lack of activity because of Brexit. Far from it. And the size and type of M&A deals last year signal confidence in the UK continental shelf. The sector needs fiscal stability, and I agree with other members that that is a message we are sending out loud and clear to Her Majesty's Treasury. Businesses are not seeking to exit the UK continental shelf, which is still seen as a strategically important basin. SNP claims of Brexit downturn is simply not ringing true, and you need to look at the money and where it's being invested. Only just in the last couple of days, along with colleagues, we visited Wood, which is now the combined name of Wood Group. It's an £11 billion organisation. Only 6% of its business is in the North Sea, because it is a dynamic company investing further afield. And as for oil and gas as something of the past, let's remember it is our throwaway culture that pollutes the sea, not the hydrocarbon. So oil and gas has been pivotal in transforming the carbon intensity of our power sector, which my colleague mentioned earlier. But let's get to the nub of it. Higher taxes in Scotland will encourage companies to register and operate from out with Scotland, damaging Scotland's tax base. Punitive business rates in the North East is costing jobs. Having visited 90 North East firms related to oil and gas, I haven't heard anybody speak about Brexit. Every single one has mentioned business rates. Both of Scotland's governments need to get their shoulder to the wheel and drive this industry forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.